Hello everyone, Travis Gafford here for GameSpot Esports, joined by CLGU's Snoopeh, who just finally managed to close out that match that began last Sunday. What have the last couple days been like for you? Saturday, I'm sorry.
The last couple of days have been a little bit crazy because we've been swinging between best of threes, best of ones, like, oh my god, we're remaking a game we won, things like that. Um, and our preparation, we played against TPA, Taipei Assassins. That was our main scrim partner over the last few days. Riot Games are kind enough to offer us a place and environment to play in. Um, although we didn't, the problem is we don't trust all the teams. Like, it's hard when you're coming in, like this much money's on the line. You don't really trust the teams. So the only team we trusted was Taipei Assassins, and they can't scrim us all the time because they were like also trying to balance their scrims with other people as well. So at one point, you could see the three of us out of our team, me, Frog, and Yellow Pete, playing Twisty Tree Line, ranked Twisty Tree Line, and we're actually losing ranked Twisty Tree Line at 1200 ELO against Scrubs. It was pathetic, but
That must have been a mental toll for you, just to be losing Twisted Tree Line. Hey, you mentioned that it switched back and forth between like best of one, best of three. Do you have any insight into what was going on there? Because we know we didn't hear too much about that.
well, basically, from the game, you've seen Reddit exploded. Like, we didn't say anything, Riot never said anything, and Reddit was exploding saying they should redo the best of three. It's the only fair way to do it. You should reset the best of three. And then Riot was like, if both teams agree, that is fine. And both teams did agree at the time. Like, both teams said, yes, we'll do it, and then that was announced, both teams will do it.
Right.
But then World Elite turned around and said, is there no new coin toss? Like, we were like, what? You want a new coin toss? Like, we won the coin toss. And because we disagreed to a new coin toss, the only solution was they didn't want a best of three with no new coin toss, so it was back to best of one again. What happens? Like, I don't care now because I won. At the time, we were like, oh, this sucks, but now we won, so.
Now let's talk about that game. There was a certain point that sort of stood out to me when it seemed like you guys were swinging back in because you'd been sort of behind early game. It's about half an hour in, right down near your top turret, and you guys got that big engage. Was that sort of a moment when you felt like the game was sort of getting back in your favor? You were able to pick up Baron after that, or was that later on when you felt more confident?
Actually, it was earlier on. Like, I may be surprised, but that was earlier on. We feel like we're starting to get momentum. We're picking off a few kills here and there. We're getting like dragons in while they were caught off guard. You would have seen we picked up a few turrets as well coming into it, and we're starting to get back into the game gradually. It was them who felt like they were having to force some, like before, because they were losing control, and they started forcing things. And when they started tanking our top turret and we closed in through the jungle, they were in an unfavorable position because they were already a little bit low in health and they were forced to make plays. They couldn't just run from us. So when we Karthus walled like three of them, and then the Corki was trying to come in and do damage, and I'd seen him, I just pulled him straight away. Karthus DFG'd, and then from that point on, we were like, the game is ours. That's when we knew the game was ours, at that point. But before that, we were getting an advantage and we were slowly getting back into the game. But that was a key turning point.
So obviously you're sort of playing in an area. I actually haven't seen where you guys are playing, but it's sort of off to the side from what I understand. They're constructing stuff here, and there's not really a big audience for you. What's that like, especially in comparison to LA Live where you were last Saturday? Is it just a different atmosphere? Or?
It's a little bit surreal because this was done rushed ahead. Like, this was not planned. Like, none of this was planned. So everything just had to get botched together and make something work so we could actually give games to show you guys. So the environment's not the best. Like, there's no crowd to feed off. There's no that kind of thing. So it's a little bit surreal when you're sitting there and you're like, we just won. Like, there's nothing to feed off. Yeah. So it's a little bit surreal, but the environment's really nice. The PCs are nice. Everything's top notch. Expect that from Riot.
So you said you've been scrimming TPA, and actually right behind us, the TPA versus M5 game is about to start. You have a prediction. I think by the time people see this, they'll be able to see whether or not your prediction is correct. But what's your guess?
I'm going to say Taipei Assassins is a really strong team. I think Moscow 5 is a stronger team, though. But I will not say Moscow 5 is going to dominate them. I'm going to 2-1. I think Moscow 5, then TPA, then Moscow 5. I think that's how it's going to go. I'm not sure who has watched side yet, like blue or purple side. That could influence my decision a little bit. But I think it's going to be 2-1 to Moscow 5.
Now you're actually playing against somewhat of a rival team for you, Azubu Frost. Of course, they knocked you out of OGN just recently. So is this going to be like your comeback? Are you going to get revenge against them?
Yeah, like OGN finals, we should have won that. Like, we threw that so hard. The good thing is we played against them a bunch. We know somewhat what they play. Although we haven't done that much research on them for this game because the big game for us today was World Elite. That game had to be won. We're going to go feed off a few things we learned about them in OGN, and I think overall we're a better team. I think we stay calm. If we have to, grind it out to late game. If we can't early dominate. It should still be good games, though. I do expect them to put up a good fight, but I hope we can win it.
All right, well, hey, thanks a ton for the interview. Best of luck against the Superfrost tonight. Everyone, that's Travis Gafford for GameSpot Esports. You can check us out at gamespot.com/esports for more League of Legends coverage throughout the event.